That thing real like you and me. Take my back away from me.
Amis Ami, thank you so much to my friends who helped me to create Fraid, the law of the law. And thank you to everyone who came to show their support last night. I know many of you were not able to come to the project due to many different reasons. So sit back, relax, and thank you once again for making Fraid, the law of the law.
Storytelling is a part of every culture.
Hola.
Good day, good night. My name is Jada. And just like the folklore characters, I too have a French origin and a French name, Pico in my name. And tonight, you will be seeing, well rather, hearing the fact that folklore and our oral storytelling traditions are still alive. These stories continue to happen, and they're still happening. Now, we all have a story to say. People have phobia, words on them. People see something flying in the night. People hear somebody calling their name. And we all have an experience. So sit back, relax. Try not to be afraid. The law of the law.
Storytelling is a part of every culture, with stories that have been shared from generation to generation. But these stories are not a work of fiction. They actually happen and continue to happen. And you think you could get away? They're on land, in the water, in the sky, feel you safe at home. They even appear in your dreams. These creatures can bring you riches and sorrows. You know them thing real like you and me. The retelling of the encounters, them thing never seem to differ. Sure, place, time, and person changes, but the essence of the story stays the same. Or is it the reoccurring characters? The hunter and Papa Boa, the man and the larger blessed Sukuya and the woman, the dwan and the child, the Obia man, the zombie, the silk cotton tree. You ever see the lady dressed in white just for her to just disappear? It's her more, you know. These entities and characters are the reason that we do certain things, like entering the house backwards when coming home late at night, throwing salt or rice grains at the corner of your house. You don't have a name at night, you know, and not saying that you're going when you're leaving a funeral. You're never bad talker Obia man, and finding unexplained bruises, examples of things that we do. But don't be afraid. Leave your salts and holy water for another time. Folklore characters that only come out at night. Right. Let me tell you a story. The way Granny tell me, and she Granny tell she, since the beginning of time. Fraid, the law of the law.
You hear that? They're coming for you. They come out to prey on the children. You see them near schools and waterways and in the bush. You ever wonder why you must never call your child's name at night? Why, as a kid, you could never be outside late. They're spirits of children who died before they were christened, often seen with a straw hat, a face that has a smile, and their feet are somehow flipped backwards. Some tellings say they would come to take the love of a parent. Others say they come to turn a child into one of their own. But we all know they just come to wreak havoc and cause mischief. The story you're about to hear happened to people in different parts of the country at different times. But it's always the same story. The experience is no different.
It's the same. Fraid, the law of the dwen.
I'm not telling you about the time I went to Matura and I encountered Dwen for the first time. So we went to my great-grandmother's house, who is one of the last living members of the Carib community, by the way. So we all slept in one room with 4 double-deckers. All my cousins and I, my older cousins, because I was the youngest, we wasn't tired. You know, you're eager to play and have fun when you're lying with your cousins. So all the adults who were there went out that night. And when they had gone, we was home with my great-grandmother. So we decided to, go outside and try to find something to do. She was too old, minding her business. She wasn't really studying us. So I think we had heard a noise coming from outside. So my cousin sent me outside to check it out, the youngest, for whatever reason. So when I went outside now, to the front door, and I was looking around, I didn't see anything. And I turned back around to go back inside, and the door was closed. So I was like, but what's going on? So I'm knocking, I was like, hey, Olil, I'm back inside. Why the door closed? So then I started to hear some rustling in the bush. And I started to hear like kids laughing and like noises and stuff. So I started to get scared because the noise getting louder. The bush like shaking more rough and it was getting crazy. So I was being a child, panicking. I was scared. I started to get frantic, scream, bang up the door, bawling for them to come back inside. And this noise just getting louder and louder. And then I see these little kids, like they look smaller than kids even, walking out of the bush and wearing the straw hats. And so I scared out of my mind because I already know what that's supposed to represent. There's a Dwen coming towards me. So, eventually after I bang up the door, they let me back inside. And when I told them what happened, we look outside and we didn't see anything again. So,
You ever gotten a pain out of nowhere? Things just start falling apart. You ever wonder just how and why you're with this person for so long? Have you ever seen an old dolly in a weird place, in a weird position? There are reasons we don't say our good news out loud. Somebody always has their eye on you. You've upset a person with dark connections. Connections to magic. Black magic and evil spirits they deal with. An old man or woman, they'll send things after you to make you lose your work, your partner, and even your mind. Bush bath, sea bath, blue soap and camphor, and of course prayers can help. If you ever go by these practitioners for whatever reason, I'm not here to judge. Don't ever bad talk them. And trust me, they'll know, because with easy come, easy go. In other words, they gave you that luck, or the work you wanted so badly, and just as easily, they can take it away. The stories you're about to hear may sound familiar. I mean, we've all mentioned them before.
Whoever hear that Obia man getting their money worth.
Afraid. The law of Obia.
I don't like going near his house. You does always feel drained. Just so you will know your got pains and something always going wrong when you're passing there. Last time a dead bird was on the ground. And in fact, you're always seeing a set of dead animals and a set of shilling in front of the house. It had a time. I take my fast self and Mako inside the house. And I see him bearing a whole set of thing looking like blood. I don't like that house, I just never really see that man. 13 years. And I could only count on one hand how much times I see. And my family ain't see him at all either. My sister see a man go inside and he never come out. I went and recorded a little video for my friend. And the next day, my car tire burst. And the spare gone through too.
Turn around when you reach home late at night, but put a dog's yampi by your eye to see them. Because animals can see them. Faces and people appear and disappear out of nowhere. Voices calling out to you. Things breaking out of nowhere. Stay calm and just go before something follows you home. Don't say any goodbyes. Just go. If you're getting that heavy feeling, it's a malevolent spirit come out to cause mischief. You mess with a silk cotton tree? Better not. Some say to get rid of these jumbies and evil spirits, you must put shoes at the front of your door for them to struggle to put it on. turn a broom upside down, or even enter your house backwards when coming home late at night. All malevolent spirits are jumbies, come to cause problems.
Fraid, the law of spirits and Jumbie.
Now, I grew up in the hills of St. Anne, and behind my house was a forest area. The house we lived in wasn't ours, but we rented it from a man that was suspected of being involved in Obia. It wasn't long before weird things started to happen. At night, my brother and I would see a pitch black figure of an animal walking around the room, like a wolf or a lion. It never attacked us, but just having it walking around in the room had us scared. And the only way for us to sleep was to pull the sheets over our head and wait for the sleepiness to kick in. During the day, we would see a pitch black figure of something dash across the doorways. And this would happen all the time, just from the corner of our eyes. One day though, my brother found a pentagram in the laundry room, and he took it and threw it in the forest behind. And about 10 minutes later, he heard screaming, which was actually me and my cousin. What had happened was my cousin and I, we went into the forest in the back to look for Tankaby. And we were the same age, she was taller than me, bigger than me. And she had on slippers, and there was broken glass on the floor. So she was carrying me on her back. I was barefoot. I pointed to a tanker bean and she picked it up, and when she turned it around, it was rotten on the underside. So we just pelted behind us, and when we did that, we heard a growl. So we turned around, and in the bushes, a pitch black figure of a wolf with green eyes was staring back at us. And like my cousin, she was in a daze, just in a trance actually, just staring back at it. So I looked at it, looked down, looked back at it, and I was like, run! And she started to run with me on her back, but we were moving too slow, so I actually jumped off her back and ran through the broken glass, barefooted, and she's behind me like, wait for me! Wait for me! And that's the commotion my brother heard. So we called our uncles and aunts, and they came with a cutlass and everything ready for whatever it was. And when they came, it was gone. But the place that it was, all the bushes were broken down. So something was there. And that was actually the last thing that I can remember happening in that house.
So now that we have heard a few encounters with a few of our characters, do you feel afraid? Do you feel your hand shaking? Do you think you could sleep tonight? These are a few of our folk tales and storytelling traditions that we have to offer. And trust me, it are plenty more. But just remember, don't mess with tree, forest, woman, and obia. Stay home and silent at night, and everything is not what it seems. Gather your swords and holy water. Come and tell me a tale and encounter Fraid, the law of the law.